I believe that the two most important aspects of a famous speech are the impact it has on the people who hear it and the result or action that stems from that impact. Those two things will likely end up defining the individual who is giving the speech. Let's take a look at a couple characteristics that make a famous speech famous. Maybe it's funny. Maybe it's genius. Maybe it's eloquent. Maybe it's just plain stupid. Maybe it's groundbreaking, something undiscovered or never heard of before. Or maybe it's inspirational. I believe all these characteristics are capable of making a speech memorable, but I think that most would agree that if a speech is inspirational, it can change lives. The man in speech I want to talk about for a couple minutes was able to inspire and change many lives. In fact, he ultimately changed the way America views cancer. His name was Jimmy Valvano. He was born in 1946 in New York City to a very strong and supportive family. He was a passionate young man with many goals and aspirations. When he was 17 years old, he wrote his professional aspirations on a white index card. They were to play basketball in high school and college, become an assistant basketball coach, then become a head coach, win a game in Madison Square Garden, and finally cut down the nets after winning a national championship in college basketball. At age 36, Jimmy could cross out every one of those aspirations on the index card. He had done each of the things that he aspired to do. Jimmy also went on to be a commentator on ESPN and ABC. He authored 3 books. He gave hundreds of motivational speeches to corporations across the country. He hosted weekly television and radio shows, created his own corporation to oversee his many entrepreneurial endeavors, and showcased his fabulous sense of humor on national stages many times. Jimmy Valvano was a pretty successful guy, but not because he was a great coach. He was never the most successful coach. You won't find him on any top 10 lists. That's not his legacy. His legacy is who he was as a person. He was passionate about life and people. People mattered to him more than anything, and he made sure they knew it. He found a way to teach life's most important and valuable lessons by example, not just through sports, but through overall character. Ultimately, though, in the end, it was his courage that was most necessary to him and those around him. In June of 1992, he was diagnosed with metastatic adenocarcinoma, a terminal form of bone cancer. Jimmy was given a year to live at that point. In that final year, he decided that instead of giving up, he would fight the disease to the finish, but not just for himself, but for any cancer patient that he could. Jimmy once said, "I want to help every cancer patient I can now. I don't know if I can handle that, but it's the only conceivable good that can come out of this." So let's take a look at his final speech. Jimmy did many motivational speeches and interviews, but the one that was most famous and defined his legacy was in 1993 at the ESPY Awards, just 2 months before he would ultimately die. A man at death's door who simply knew this was his last chance to inspire talked about the importance of family, enthusiasm, laughter, dreams, goals, work ethic, knowing where you are so you can know where you're going. He talked about enjoying the precious moments in life and never taking them for granted. Jimmy closed his speech by saying that he would spend his final moments attempting to give others hope. Although it was too late for him, he wanted to bring cancer to the forefront, to attempt to impact, help, and give hope to the next generation of cancer patients. During his final speech, he announced that with the help of ESPN, he was starting the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research. The motto for that foundation is "Don't give up, don't ever give up." Today, a week out of every year in college basketball is dedicated to making money for that foundation. He ended the speech by saying, "Cancer can take away my physical abilities, but it can't touch my mind. It can't touch my soul, and it can't touch my heart. And those 3 things are going to carry on forever." The power behind the speech was the character of Jimmy Valvano. This was a man who knew what was important and how to portray it to others. He delivered his final speech with passion, inspiration, and command. He utilized humor by poking fun at himself. He cried for help by giving statistics on cancer. In 11 minutes, Jimmy Valvano captivated a lifetime worth of lessons for us all, and for anyone else who has heard or watches it. He was a great public speaker and had a way with words. That being said, it was his life that made his final speech famous. Everything Jimmy said in his speech, he exemplified with his life.